And now here's the rest of our chat heading into what is going to be the next era of Bastille.
Hey dude, how's it going?
Good to see you, man.
Oh, no worries. How are you? Where are you at?
I'm in LA. You know, things have gotten a lot worse before they've tended to get any better. And where do we find you?
I'm in London at home. Things have started to kind of loosen up a bit here, relax, which is kind of surreal coming out of lockdown a little bit. Obviously, it's still locked down for a lot, but yeah, so this surreal time where it's slightly different for so many different places and cities and all over the world.
It's hard to kind of differentiate one day from the next. Have you been able to find yourself to be creative in this sort of environment?
As time's gone on, it's been really creative. I guess I stopped for a bit and we was trying to think of ways to be useful locally. So I was kind of helping out in the community a fair amount and have been working at some food banks. And then online, we started a digital film club because I was trying to think of ways that we could as, you know, quote unquote entertainers, just be vaguely useful while everyone around the world is kind of in various states of freaking out.
It's great that you found an outlet for that in this sort of online film club. What were you doing? Were you sort of introducing audiences to stuff that they might not have come across, or just sort of reinterpreting classics? What was the gist of it?
So we thought we'd do a film club and just have a weekly geek out with people and try and create a sense of community for our fan base and for sort of film nerds the world over and speak to loads of filmmakers. So that was really fun. And I guess it wasn't particularly musically related. But in the background, yeah, man, we've been making loads of music and I almost feel like guilty to say it, but it's been a really creative time and we've been making tunes that I'm incredibly excited by. So yeah.
Really, I think the hardest part about it is trying to just sort of manage your own anxiety about what the future has in store.
There's new albums that have come out in this period, like the Strokes record and Laura Marling's album, and I guess I've got like all the new music by Salt. Like, you have a relationship with those records.
That album is incredible. I mean, you want to talk about like a timely artifact.
Unbelievable.
That Salt record, it's not something you could put on like midday during like a barbecue or whatever, but like that record at like nighttime driving around, like it is cathartic.
Amazing production, some such like beautiful songs on there as well. Like, yeah, it's really incredible. But yeah, I found myself as well rewatching gigs, like loving, like when Glastonbury, which is obviously a big festival here, and we were just pretending that we were there. Like, yeah, I've missed live music so much. Going to shows. One of the last things we did before lockdown was go see Big Thief when they were on tour. I was there with a bunch of my friends, and one of my friends was quite drunk, and he kept being like, "I tell you, man, this is the gig of the year. This is the gig of the year." I didn't know how right he'd be. It literally was the gig of the year because there haven't been any more since then.
We are fortunate enough that artists have still found this space to be creative and be productive and channel this moment into music, like the Salt album. Like, that is definitely an artifact of where we find ourselves in contemporary United States and coming face to face with the history of white supremacy. And just that album is just a tour de force. And I have to say, like, this single that you guys are about to release feels like a new phase for you guys. And I want to attribute that to the moment that we find ourselves in. But I have to say, I'm my jaw's on the floor that Graham Coxon is on this. Blur, one of my favorite bands of all time. Like,
dude, me too.
Just first, before you even tell me how the song came together, tell me he's a rad guy, because I mean, my money's on he's a rad guy.
It's always super gratifying when someone that you admire also is a decent human being, you know.
Yeah.
For me, man, like, yeah, growing up, Blur were one of my favorite bands. You know, the diversity of their sound, the like wit of their lyrics, to go from like Song 2 to Beetlebum or whatever, like the breadth in what they did. Like, Graham Coxon to me is like, when I think of guitar sounds that I love, like he's just like, for me, one of the greatest. And we wanted to make something that felt surprising and like smacked you around the face. And we sent it to him and crossed our fingers, and yeah, he was up for it, man. And
that's amazing.
You know, did some awesome guitar stuff, and then when we asked him, I was like, "Oh, would you be up for singing on it too?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." It like totally blew my mind, but like, we love the song, we're really excited by it, and it felt kind of urgent and it felt fitting for the times. And hopefully will just be like a bit of an entertaining shock and surprise to people, and hopefully a bit of a distraction, you know. and we can pretend that we're jumping around on a stage playing it.
Graham Coxon, I mean, the guy is a beast. Like, he is one of the most accomplished guitarists in music. I mean, just like chord slides and pull-offs and just these fractured runs, and just one of the most talented guitarists of all time.
And his taste when it comes to, because obviously like such a huge part. I'm not a guitarist. I can't play guitar. I try to on this song. I will. When we play it live, I will. But so I can't speak with any authority. But you know, his choice of sounds and his choice of like pedals and distortions is also like second to none. It's brilliant. And yeah, we're like super excited and honored to be sharing a record with him. You know,
it feels tangible, and it feels like a real progression forward. And I guess, you know, are you guys finding yourselves still working through these moments that we're all kind of collectively enduring, and putting that into whatever the next project is? Will we feel this sort of this anxiety and this uncertainty and this claustrophobia in the new and in whatever this next era is of the band?
I've been thinking about this a lot in terms of will we come out of this year and this period with music and art and literature that represents it. And will there be an appetite for that? You know, will people want to relive it so much? Will they want to work through it? Will they want to ignore it? Will they want to be distracted? And you know, there's been a lot written about how some of the most popular music to come out of this time has been completely like totally escapist, like euphoric kind of pop music and music like that. I'm sure it will seep in. I'm sure like it inevitably will. And with our music, you know, we have quite a clear vision of what we're doing, but at the moment we're just we wanted to enter whatever we're doing next with some spontaneity. We wanted to sort of rip up our kind of process and start again, and just have fun with it. And I think inevitably, you know, this huge collective moment, like you said, that we've all been going through in so many different ways, will seep in, you know, like without a doubt. But we're definitely not setting out to make a kind of a lockdown record in the way that I think some people have and some people will.
Yeah,
we're lucky in our music. There's a lot of kind of escapism, and so that's something that's a kind of helpful thing to have for us.
Well, it's a brilliant track, and
thank you, dude.
It just sounds fresh and bold, and Graham Coxon being on it is just cherry on top, man. Thank you so much again for taking some minutes out of your day.
Dude, thank you so much for having us. Yeah, I'm so excited for people to hear this, so thank you.